Hello everyone, my name is Vanshika Garga, and
Hi, I'm Amit Garga.
so today I am here to share my dad Amit Garga's story of his digital marketing, sales, photography journey. So my first question to you is, could you talk a bit about your previous corporate roles and responsibilities and what type of companies you work for?
So it's been a variety of experience if I have to give you that answer. I've worked with telecom for 16 years. I've worked in air conditioning for 5 years. I've also been a business head with Mahindra Group, Club Mahindra for 5 odd years. And my last assignment was a digital transformation head with Loda Group. The roles have been very, very different. It starts from sales and marketing. When I say sales, basically, if you say from FMCG to the enterprise sales, I've seen each and every cycle. If I look from an experience perspective, I've been the head of experience for Airtel in Karnataka as well as Bihar. Karnataka was very complex as an operation. And with Mahindra, I was a business head in South as well as I became their business development head in Mumbai. I've handled the digital part of it, I've handled the software part of it, did a lot of work related to IT, which sorted the issues of sales team and everyone. With Loda was the last, I would say, a year wherein I worked as a digital transformation head. There I was looking after their digital transformation as well as their digital performance.
Okay, I'm a bit curious now that you said one of the most complex was Karnataka. What particular reason made it complex?
See, there are two parts to it. One is obviously the circle was very, very different. When I say different, in the sense, it was one of those circle which had each and every product of Airtel. The second thing is their customer base of Airtel was the largest. When I say largest, in the sense, one of the largest circle across India. And when I joined that particular place, I still remember my ex colleague, or you can say the person who was handing me over the position, saying, Amit, welcome to Karnataka. And his statement was very simple, saying that you will be spending the rest of your time approving mails. Uh, there'll be a lot of escalations here, and life is going to be very interesting. Welcome to Karnataka. He was leaving into another organization, so maybe he was very upfront sharing his views.
Okay, I understand now. What made you transition from your corporate to now the business that you're running? What was the reason?
There are two reasons.
Okay.
And the first one is I was tired, actually sick and tired of handling two bosses, one at home, one in office.
Are you sure you want to say that on this platform?
See, my life is as it is miserable when I go home. So it doesn't matter. Now the life is as miserable in office, right? And the second reason I think was my own wife's decision. Not, I wouldn't say her decision. She wanted me to get out of the stress. Corporate life is not easy to deal with, and there are a lot of politics. Work at times go as a backseat. It's more important to satisfy XYZ people rather than really doing business. And I'm also getting tired of those kind of handling every day that dirty politics did not make sense to me.
So you would suggest business over corporate to someone who is of my age, for example?
Yes, I would. And see, it's a mixed thought process. A lot of people think that doing business is not the right thing because when you go back in society, you will see 90% people working.
Yeah.
It's only 10% who would be possibly doing business. I don't know the exact number. I'm just saying the large number are people who work for someone.
True.
And the risks associated with working for someone is lesser than when you work for yourself. But if you really want to make something in life and if you really want to make an impact and make your life easier, I would recommend going into business. Life is not easy in business, it takes time, but it is much more better than getting into those, like I said, daily stress kind of activities. The flexibilities, a lot of things which gets hampered when you work in a corporate office.
Okay. So how did you come up with the idea to start this business?
To be honest, it goes way back in 2007. So in 2007, I was just like, it was my birthday. I was thinking what to buy, what not to buy, and every time you go and there's a discussion which happens at home ki aaj kya lena hai? And at that age and that particular year, it did not make sense of me buying anything. Then I said, what should I look at? So I gifted myself a very small thing, a small gift, and I gifted myself a website. right, with a host. I said, let me understand website design, let me go into it and understand how life is around. So I think that was my trigger point to getting into digital side of the business. And I felt somewhere that technology is changing, things are changing, and I think I needed to adapt to the newer processes rather than sticking back to the old ones.
I'm impressed. Can you describe your agency's business model and services that you offer now?
See, okay, so it's basically, like I say, a 360-degree solution to someone who would like to do business. Uh, Now, when I say 360 degree of doing business is like, what is the struggle for small, medium enterprises? I've not really considered it into corporate. I thought, let me start with the larger base, and maybe if I can help the smaller businesses establish themselves, I'll get much more satisfaction because my business also is a small one now. Now, when I started, I found out what are the issues which you face as a small business. You don't get the right digital strategies, you don't get the right sales strategies, you don't get the right content, you don't get the right, I would say, the photography part of it or the videography part of it, or how do you actually focus on your business, or how do you develop your business. Uh, People talk of brand and everything. The way I look at it, when I also started my business, I made very clear that before getting into a brand, I will get into something which gives me money. So my stress factor reduces the day I make money every day. That is where I started my business. And hence, I thought similarly, if I can help a lot of other businesses, obviously with 30 years of experience, it adds value to them.
One question I would like to ask was, what motivated you to transition from the career? I mean, a lot of people, they transition from their corporate career to the business quite early. You started with Ma around the age of 50.
So, okay, let's talk practical. The first step is that my son was already out, he already had graduated. My daughter's age was in such that another year you would have passed out from architecture. So my liabilities literally were not to worry about both of your career, because I felt till I've given you an education till graduation, everything that sorts out that particular part of financial needs which you and Malab, your brother would require. Right. So that was sorted. So I think the second thing which came in is, like I said, unnecessary stress, unnecessary issues which are being built up on in the corporate. You have ultimately, if I look at corporate, you have to kill yourself to please someone else. Now, when I say that, yes, you should change, but change to the level that wherein you are getting self-impacted, I think it doesn't make sense. So that's where I thought of it, and I said, let me get out of it. And I don't think there was a large challenge of me not being able to succeed, because, like I said, you asked me a question earlier. 2007, I started my website. I started inculcating skills or developing skills over a period of time, which let me also have that comfort that in case I don't do what I'm doing right now, I can still survive. So I think everything fit in place.
The timing was good.
Yes, you can say so, or you can say it is late. Maybe after 10 years, I'll say I should have started 10 years earlier.
Like I said, for my mom's podcast, I'd say here, it's never too late.
No, it's never late. In fact, there's a person I actually refer to in my team when I used to discuss was KFC's owner. He started, I think, at 63 or 67. I don't remember. So if he can do it, I'm still young.
True. You will always be young for me.
Yes, I will be.
So, how do you and your wife divide responsibilities in the
You're asking me difficult
business?
questions. You're asking me actually difficult questions, because if I come in open, it may create problems at home. No, anyway, on the lighter side. On the serious note, like I said, I was into sales and marketing for 30 years. This particular part is not taken care by her. She always felt, "Tum karte kya office mein?" ठीक है, now I'm being honest. So she will obviously question me after the podcast. But
So you've transferred your responsibilities onto her.
no, I didn't transfer my responsibilities. See, what happens is I gave her that particular role, not forcefully, I let her take it. Right. So when she took up that role, she found it very interesting, because communicating with a lot of people makes her feel happy that she's connecting with 100 people, 200 people, 300 people. And me as a person, I've connected with so many people that it doesn't really make any difference. Right. And I knew it, when she will pick it up, she will have those positives and negatives. So anyway, since she's a extrovert as a person, I said, you look after the sales and marketing. Let me handle the back end operations. When I say back end operations, there's a lot of work which goes behind. So, for example, so if supposedly a customer comes, for a simple example for photography, I had to actually spend time to get the right quality of product, to get the right editing, understand what the customer needs, and ultimately improvise. So while she does the selling, we have been improvising internally to understand how it does. Plus, I put another role in back in, since your brother is now along with us. I use this particular 1.5 year to train him to do everything which I could do. So if I have to answer today, it's I think what at least 95% of many of the activities I can do, and there are places where he's exceeded me. So my job is sorted. Now, technically, I can just walk out of this place now, and the business will still continue with the same place.
वैसे भी when it comes to each product, they would require different requirements for the way it is shot. So I understand.
No, it has to be. See, every product is different.
Exactly.
The lighting changes. People think photography, videography is easy because everyone has a mobile in hand. What they don't understand is that how does a light fall on a particular object can actually make a huge impact. Just to give you a brief, yesterday I got a case wherein the person was struggling to get dust diamond photograph. Now, it took me time also, but since I have a lot of experience, been doing for quite some time, I was able to deliver what he was looking for. And diamond dust is much more difficult than taking a picture of diamond itself. I've done a lot of diamond shoots, but diamond dust was really an interesting shoot to be done.
What digital marketing strategies do you find most effective for your agency?
Okay, when you come to digital marketing, there are various ways wherein you can do that marketing part of it. And while everything is available on the net, it is not one of the easiest thing to do. It is a very complicated activity. And what I've seen also is that a lot of people have failed not because of any reason, but they try too many things in digital marketing. Now, if I have to give from my perspective, digital marketing for me means that you pick up, like I took the strategy of starting with only Instagram. I knew website very well. I've in fact designed website which were SEO enabled and which have given me leads in the past. The only problem with SEO is that the speed of lead is slightly slower. And for me, the pressure of giving or getting more business was necessary because you need money now. Earlier, I was getting a paycheck every month. The money was being funded from my side into the business. Now there was a situation wherein I will not get that paycheck. So I have to generate the whole business on my own. So the first thing which came in mind is figure out where I can get business immediately. And I think somewhere Instagram played a very important role. And I spent literally, if I have to give you a feel, I spent at least 2 hours every day for the last 1.5 year, wherein I'm trying to learn Instagram. I'm trying to understand what becomes organic for Instagram, what gives me value, money, and everything. But the strategy, I still kept it simple. After struggling possibly for the first 3 months, I was getting a lot of followers, I was getting likes. Like people say that you need followers and likes. I was getting everything, but I was not getting business initially. Then I made a rule: I'm not interested in likes and followers. I want people who will give me business as followers. I don't want followers for the sake of followers. As soon as I started changing that strategy, my advertisements strategy started changing, and I started getting into it. Just to give you a feel, and it's a good number, people don't get it easily. My ROIs on advertisement is as high as 15 to 20 times. So if I spend 1,000 rupees, my ROIs you can understand comes in to what value if I do only on Instagram. Then once I had Instagram in my control, I started moving back to Google. So Google Maps started giving me business, but I was slightly slow on that. It used to give me very good leads, good quality value, customers also, everything. Now it started flowing back to Google in terms of advertisement. I'm getting very good response there also. The step which is left off now, obviously, is organic in terms of website. So that's a third step.
So you started with daily goals to lead to a ultimate.
Yes, a very simple goal. So let's focus on that.
That is one of the things I respect highly about him is someone of his age is still learning continuously every day. I don't even know if people my age are putting in that kind of effort to learn something new every day. That is one thing I am still trying to incorporate in my life.
I think you have put in an important point. See, what happens is when you learn, uh, yes, when I say 2007, I started learning. In fact, it was not an easy task. You had to go back home, Your office used to start around 9:30. You reach back around 8:39, and that is the time I used to I started putting in learning new skills. So every day 2 hours in the night going back for literally 10-15 years is the reason I became an expert in digital marketing. My age people don't even understand what a blog is. My age people don't understand how do you code. I know coding, I know app designing, I know blogging, I know YouTube, I know AdSense, I know AdWords, I know literally everything when it comes to digital marketing. AI is a new, I would say, a new technology which is coming in. While personally, I still feel it's still in nascent age, but that also will become very important. So if I don't get myself ready for AI, I will be out again.
True, generative AI is taking over quite a lot of things, but I feel like the accuracy is still lacking.
That will take
Quality
time.
and
That's
accuracy.
like I said, but you never know. Maybe 2 years down, the whole thing changes. So you
True.
have to
So you have to
ultimately adapt to it.
Yes, agreed. So, what was the inspiration for your passion for photography and videography?
I think photography comes from my father's side. I think he was a very good photographer, and I always loved his photography. In fact, when we were in Europe, he had taken so many pictures. He had slides with them. At that time, there used to be a projector, there used to be a slide, and those pictures used to be amazing when you see on the big screen. And once he went to Austria and he picked up the pictures of autumn, and I can't tell you how beautiful they were because unfortunately those slides got destroyed over a period of time. I don't have them, but those pictures were really very beautiful. So that was one of the reasons which sent me back basically to looking at photography, and maybe that's where it brings in. The second thing is I think it brings in a lot of creativity. So what happens is, and when you're taking pictures, it brings in creativity. The third thing which I feel, and I think that is one of the reason I started, was it create memories. I don't know how many of you create memories. Today you put it on a phone, and the phone you take a picture. The picture goes onto your maybe Instagram, Facebook, which is good because that also will leave you with how do I say memories. But the quality of picture which you get with a DSLR is literally very different. So you can blow it up and look at it. It gives you a lot of pleasure when you take pictures like that.
Something that I'm still learning from you, using a DSLR. I mean,
That will
I
take
feel like
time.
I've gotten a good hang of photography.
And you might have a good hang of understanding how to take a picture. When I'm saying visualizing conceptually the angles, how does it look better and all that stuff. But I think you still have to learn a lot on the camera side.
I mean, I feel like even if I learn quite a lot, still be more to learn.
See, learning is something I have not been able to get over with. I learn every day. When I look at a picture, I will realize, oh, I have missed out this thing. And that's one of the reason I do the editing personally. So it gives you a lot of understanding of what you missed in the picture. The customer may not even realize. My wife at times will say, the customer is so happy. Why are you trying to make even much more? Well, that's my way of doing it. That's the way I have got built up. Improve and improve and improve over a period of time, and I think that helps me a lot. And that's one of the reason I moved into digital. Otherwise, I would have been happy doing sales.
I think it's good that you moved into digital. I
Yes, I
enjoy
think
your
so.
work. What has been the most challenging aspect of running the business so far?
Okay, I think this is a this is for everyone. When you start a business, and especially a person like me who's never been very strong at financials, I think the largest challenge for me was fund flow, cash flow. So what has happened, while the funds in the first year would have reduced with what I started with, but now it is at least stabilizing in the next year. And the way I look at businesses, so if it stabilizes in the next year, it's a good sign. And if it's that means the next phase will be even much better. So after 5 years, 6 years, it will be like no worries. It will be like continuous flow.
But you enjoy it, so
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
how do you stay updated with the latest trends and advancement in digital marketing?
I think observation is the most important factor in this. Observation, observation, observation. Nothing else. What you see on internet is someone else's observation. What you see on the internet may not be correct. What you see in internet may be a selfish need of me promoting myself. So observation, I think, is the most important aspect when you come to digital marketing. Observation. Why I'm saying is that, to give you a very simple example, I when I did my, I was doing advertisement, but in May I was like trying to boost up my business a bit more. And on when you go on Google, it says very categorically, don't boost a post or a reel or anything. It doesn't pay you. So I tested my assumption. When I say I tested my assumption, there is a history to assumption. I'll come to that. But when I tested my assumption, I said, if it is written on Google, it is not necessarily it is true or wrong. I've seen even ads, people claim, don't boost your reel, you will not make money. For me, that particular boosting of ad has given me an ROI 15 times, 20 times. What else do I need? Which means don't go on Google, don't believe on whatever is written. You have to test your assumptions. Now, testing assumptions does not come just generally. I think this is some training which I would appreciate. Airtel, they got me trained into theory of constraint. The trainers were amazingly good. I think if you've heard the name of the book called The Goal, or Elliot Goldratt is a guy who's written it. I think wonderful book. But those 2 days of training did open a lot of, I would say, they opened a lot of mindsets, and they helped you test assumptions. So if you see something, go and check whether that is real or not. If it is not real and you have not yourself proven that this is real, then it is an assumption which is not to be looked at. So I don't want to get into theory of constraint. It's a large topic in itself, but largely test your assumptions every minute, every day, and you will realize that there are a lot of assumptions which have no value.
I think most assumptions have no value. They have to be backed up by.
No, I disagree with that. You start something with an assumption. What you need to do is you need to revalidate that assumption. So that is one of the reasons when I did my business, I did a lot of pilot test. Pilot test is what is I assume. So for example, if I go with the same bag, the assumption is that boost will not work, right? I could have two options. One is agree with the person who said something, or the other way around is do a pilot, right? I did that pilot with a very minimal amount, and that pilot proved that the first assumption was wrong, which means this assumption went for a toss, and my own thought went correct. So I come from a direct sales background. In direct sales background, how you promote yourself is go and meet people. And what do you do during that time? You actually promote your product. That's the way of direct sales in brief. Now, what I did is I actually created an ad which was doing that particular activity for me for 24 hours a day. So I will not say assumptions are wrong. I would say check your assumptions, keep on testing them. What may be right today may change tomorrow. Today the boost is working, may not work tomorrow. So you will have to keep on rechecking your assumptions and trying out something new again and again.
Believing all assumptions is not the key.
Yeah. So you need to test assumptions. All assumptions may be correct till you have tested them.
Agreed. So, what accomplishments are you most proud of since starting your agency?
I think I still have a lot to achieve on this. I am a different guy. I don't get so easily swayed by things which goes in the right direction. It takes me time. I take time, and the reason for taking time out is to understand. See, if I am able to reach to a particular level, yes, I have moved up. I can be happy about it. But the way I look at something is that you need to take time and really, like I had some rules. So I used to say that if something goes right for 3 days, you're going in the right direction. If you go for 3 weeks, it is in the right direction. So I don't think it's written in any book or the other. That was my own theory. And if it goes right for 3 years, then I'm in the right place, which means I still have 1.5 years to prove myself. So my results, or I would say my success or my growth will only be visible after 1.5 years. That's my way. I'm a very self-critical person.
I think I missed a question there. You left your corporate job when exactly?
Oh, that's around 1 year, 3 months, 4 months back.
So you joined your wife
Correct.
after 2 years of
Her
her
working.
starting it.
Correct. But see, at that time, what was happening is she was already 2.5 years into it, right? But like I said, during that time, the pressure on the business delivering me cost was not there. I mean, taking on my expenses. The business was coming in. There was a value to it. But for me, okay, so for me, the simple answer is that if supposedly I was earning X in my previous assignment, the day I cross that will be my growth story. So for you, for example, you just passed out from your college, for example. Let me take your example. You just passed out from college. So whatever you got is growth. In my case, I'm already here.
Yeah.
So my growth will come at this level.
Correct.
So in the next 1.5 year, I have to cross where I left. And if I cross in the next 1.5 year, let me assure you, it will be multiple after that.
The reason why I brought this up is because a lot of people feel like when they need to start something, you need to end all your previous woe to get into something.
Sorry, I missed the point. Previous what?
Previous, let's say somebody's already in the job. Now, for them, they would think, ki, I need to, in a way, put that job on hold to get something done because the time management is an issue.
No, I don't think time management is an issue which has been there for me. One of the reasons is that I always believed in replicating myself. So I never had a time issue in any one of the organization. Even the place you were talking of, and I said it is a very complex operation. When I said when I joined Airtel in Karnataka, the situation was 7-8 major escalations, 24 odd mails I used to approve with risk, right? And every day I used to receive not less than 10-15 calls. And all of them were very serious, I mean, not serious, I would say very uh, high value customers for Airtel. You'll be surprised after a year when I was leaving that organization, I was moving somewhere else. The number of calls I used to get was only 2 in a week, and that too with petty stuff. So my art has been always to replicate myself, one part. Second is keep on correcting your processes and system, because if you don't do that, everything is dependent on me. I could have felt very happy because everyone has to take my approval. Oh, I become very powerful. But that ultimately is a mess of the business.
Hmm.
Right? So that is, I think, a larger achievement which comes in. So time management is something which is totally in your hand. Time is never a problem. The problem is the mindset that I don't have time.
So, what are your goals and vision for the future of your agency?
I think we'll go slow is one part of it, and I think that's something which I'm still keeping the same way. When I say slow, it is not that we can do a fast track or activity in growing the business. Why I'm saying slow, because we have not gone into the market with credits. When I say credit, I could possibly go into a corporate, take the order, and take the money later. And I've realized that it's a painful activity. So I was in Airtel, and there was a time I used to have 200 people reporting in to me for collection, and collecting money from customers is very difficult. So go into something which is 100% advance, give them the right quality, the right product at a good price, and people will come to you. That's the strategy I'm following right now. If I go to corporate, then definitely the strategy will change. I will get more money. So for example, if I have to tell you, if I charge X for in my photography for a small customer, I can charge 10x from a corporate customer. He'll not even understand what is happening. But I am happy the way it is going, slow, smooth, and steady, because high speed growth at times can damage your business.
So, what advice would you give to someone looking to start their own business, especially later in life?
Uh, few of them. The first thing is start with little investment. Why do I say so? Is that when you are late in age, and supposedly you have earned some X money, and you invest everything in that business, and that business face, and what? You can't go back, you can't recreate that wealth, and you'll be in a lot of stress. So what I would advise is, don't get into investing lots of money. Start with a less investment. Now, when I say less investment, you're into trouble. Why? Because how do I start business with less investment? That is where you need to go back and think that what are the skills I have which I can upsell, or what I can sell as a skill. Now that is very important. So in my case also, if you look at it, my investment was very little because the camera was already there, the lenses were already there. My investment in business is practically this place which we are sitting in. So there's a rent around it, and there's some security around it. Rest all is whatever I had already is what I'm using. Yes, over a period of time, I would have added some lights, some lenses I picked up and all that. But that I started doing once I started getting revenue back from the business. So my piece of advice is, focus on your skills, less investment, make it happen, let the money flow. And once the money is flowing in, then you can go into investment. Then you can even go to your friends, you can go to your family, you can go to banks, take loans and do it, because now you have a model that is working.
Correct. But I also think that this advice applies not just to the later generations. I think it also applies to someone of my age. You don't really need to, take money from your parents to get a business going or to get started. I think if we have built certain skills, especially after college, we can use those and start something small, partner up with someone who's already doing it, and, maybe learn a bit more and then just get into it.
In your case, I will go in a different way altogether. See, in your case, what happens is you've already gathered some kind of skills. The suggestion I will give you to your generation would be is that go uh, use 50% of your time in ensuring that your expenses are taken care of, and use another 50% of time do something you love doing it. Now, why I say so is, it can also be getting into a job, a small job, rather than getting into a large job and getting stuck for 24 hours. Pick up a job which gives you space, work for 5 days there, use the evenings which you get around 2 hours, 3 hours to do something you love doing it. Use Saturday and Sunday to do something which again you love. If there is a situation where the money generated from what you love equals to what you earn, it's a clear exit case. You can leave that particular place and start off your own work, and your work can be then will grow multiple, because if you're able to generate same money in 2.5 days,
Hmm.
then obviously with another 5 days you can generate 3 times.
Hmm. That is good advice. I think that is something that even I have started doing a bit, like this podcast.
Anything can build. So I agree with you on that. Anything.
So, how has starting and running your own business impacted you personally? Not just professionally, we've been talking all about professionally as of now. Personally.
Okay, on personal level, you can say the stress levels have gone down, right? There's no pressure of going home. You are actually doing your own work, so you can stay at home and do the same work. You can come back to office and do it. You want to work somewhere from a different place, no one is there to actually question you where you are. The second thing is the ownership is already there. So what happens is, while I had a very high ownership level in my organizations also, but here also you have your own your own ownership. So it doesn't matter if I come to the office to work or if I don't come to the office. But yes, definitely coming to office every day has its own value. So I would still suggest that you keep on doing that activity. But if you can drive it from home, as well as nothing better than that, because there are some businesses which can be done from home, like you said, podcast. So podcast, you don't need to open a office for this. You can possibly do a very small setup at home and do it, so your cost doesn't increase and you're still doing your what you love, and then you're still making money.
I think that way is I'm very lucky. I have everything set up for a podcast right here.
You have an assistant with you, that I understand.
Yeah.
Full-fledged 24 hours.
Advantages. So, what have you learned about yourself from this journey?
What have I learned about myself? I think I wouldn't have got space in the last 1.5 year to think around that, to be honest. So I'm just leaving the flow, let it flow the way it is going. Let's see how it comes up. Maybe if you ask this question a year down, I would have some answers that would have
I'll keep this question in
for
for
later.
later.
Perfect.
So, my last question would be, what do you do to unwind and stay motivated? Because I think a lot of people, not just our generation, any generation, you start something and everything is going, no matter how passionate you are, there's certain times when you feel the lack of motivation. So, in your case, what do you do about it when you feel like, there's a slight lack of motivation?
I have a piece of advice if you want to really get into business, is that keep on doing small steps. See, the larger issue, why do you get demotivated? I think the target I taken, the goal I taken is that I should be in a position to receive every day an X value. The pressure in a business is largely how do you make the fund flow? How do you get cash? How do you make sure that your rentals are paid on time? How do you make sure your salaries of people are, in case you have, get paid? Or how do you take out your expenses on a daily basis? So I think somewhere or the other, that particular process of keeping the goal simple has helped me de-stress in itself. Second, if the flow of the money is happening, the stress goes down. The third thing, when you say motivation and demotivation, I think it's like exercise. So when you start an exercise, there's a lot of energy, a lot of happiness, you can say. Then reality hits you. The reality hits you is that I've been exercising for 3 months, 2 months, and my weight is still not reduced to the level I was thinking. and then you get into that grit, that rigor. There is a toughness around it. There are situations wherein you don't like. There'll be situations where you're not able to deliver what you're thinking on. There will be bad days, there'll be good days, all those things happen. But if you keep on doing every day a particular step, or you keep on doing a particular activity, or I would say if you keep on acting on what is required, I think motivation is something which will come automatically.
So take small steps every day.
Yes, every day, every minute, every second. Don't stop.
I
But don't
think
stress yourself by taking very large goals. I think some of the organizations I've seen failing and having a lot of stress, not meeting targets, is because they just took a target which was not realistic, or they took a target without any effort plan. So, see, when I said I have taken a goal, that is my cost. But my target was not 10, is only an indicator for me. So it's not a goal in the sense that this is my life. No, that is my indicator. Am I reaching towards it by putting the right effort? So my way of working on it is, what are the efforts I'm doing to reach that part?
I think I've learned quite a lot from you. I mean, I personally keep learning something or the other from him every day. But this was a good session for all the people who needed a bit more motivation to start something. Thank you so much for being a
Thanks,
part
thanks
of our
everyone for
podcast.
listening to me patiently, and thank you so much again.
Thank you.